Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today, of course, as always on this channel, since it's been like Primaris week and it's still not over yet. There's even more Primaris yet to come because we have the pre-orders for like the Eliminators and the Infiltrators, which are not the easy to build ones. There's so much Primaris coming, so I thought I'd still stay on the subject and talk about Primaris. But we're not going to talk about the Primaris pre-orders that are upcoming. We're going to talk at the next phase of the Primaris units. Now, what I mean by next phase is that so far we have actually had like the light guys, like the light infantry kind of units. We've had more or less the guys in the middle, which is the intercessors and stuff like that. But what is going to be the next big phase? Before all you Xenos players start losing your mind and saying, how dare you, Varak, make more Primaris videos? How dare you? My army deserves this. I know your army deserves it. And I'm fingers crossed that you guys get all your stuff very, very soon. It's just that I just love talking about Primaris. So this is basically me doing stuff that I enjoy. I don't want to, talk about Eldar because, to be completely honest with you, I don't really know what units they need. I know they need, like, of course, the HQs look old as balls and stuff, but I don't really know the army that in depth to really give my opinion on it and just start talking about it. So I'm going to keep on the track with Primaris and start basically just talking about what I really hope which is coming next for them and which is going to be added to the army. So Phase 2 Primaris, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm actually going to call it Phase 2. So the Phase 2 Primaris, as I previously mentioned, was the light version of the Primaris. That means the Eliminators with the las Fusiliers and the Snipers. That means the new Invicta Warsuit, like the basically Dreadnought, which is not a Dreadnought, which is piloted by a Primaris Marine, but looks absolutely amazing, by the way. Have to at least get 3 of them. And of course the Infiltrators, which are going to be coming in multi-part, and you've also got the captains and the lieutenants of those versions, and of course a Librarian as well. So that is basically the Phase 2, the light version of the Primaris forces. So of course they're not going to stop making Primaris. There's always going to be a next phase of the Primaris. Now this is where stuff is debatable, and this is more, it's kind of going to be wish listing, but I'm looking at it as a Primaris player as a whole, and what we need added to our army to really make our army as a whole. The brand new Codex, which I haven't got my hands on at this time of recording, is supposed to raise the Primaris profile and really make them very, very good on the tabletop. Not just the Primaris units, may I add. All the Space Marine faction is basically getting a really, really big buff when it comes to battling. Now, for me, when I look at my army, what I've got now, I've more or less bought every Primaris. Actually, I have bought every Primaris unit. I haven't probably assembled every Primaris unit, but I've got every Primaris unit that they've given me. And now, looking at my inventory, the main stuff I think we need more than anything else is it's a split between a certain type of infantry and a certain type of vehicle. Now, I think I'll start with the vehicles first because I enjoy painting vehicles. I enjoy the look of vehicles more because 40k vehicles are just awesome. So when it comes to Primaris, we need a flyer. Now, when you say, oh, what do you mean we need a flyer? Technically, Varak, all your stuff flies because it has a fly keyword. First thing, how dare you? And second thing, yes, we definitely need a flyer. Now, in the lore, Primaris can get into stuff like Storm Ravens and stuff like that, but of course on the tabletop, we can, and we still can, according to the new Codex as well. Now, they do have a dedicated flyer, and this flyer was made by Call and stuff once the Primaris were made, and this is called a Overlord, for those of you who don't know. But the problem is with the Overlord, and I don't see GW ever making the Overlord, is the simple fact that the Overlord is supposed to make the Thunderhawk look small. So if you have the Thunderhawk model, or for those of you who've seen a Thunderhawk model before, you know how big that model is. So the really only thing that could be made of that model would be Forge World, and we all know that Forge World, when it comes to those big kind of models, are very, very pricey, not only in money, but also in points. So again, I can't really see GW doing that in plastic because we've been asking for bloody plastic Thunderhawks for how long, and Warhounds and stuff, and that's still just a memory in the wind. And of course, when it comes to Forge World, I think they've got so much on the plate at the moment with the specialist games. They've got all the Horus Heresy and stuff. I can't see that anytime soon when it comes to a flyer from those companies designed like the Overlord. But what I think GW could do is maybe take it a peg down and design a flyer which could be maybe a transport which is not as big as the Overlord but maybe is a bit bigger than the Storm Raven, or they could do something where they just make a pure on attack aircraft for the Primaris. Space Marines actually have one at the moment, and if I'm not mistaken, it's called the Zephyron Interceptor, or yes, is it Inceptor or Interceptor? Let's call it the Zephyron, and it's really, really cool. It looks amazing. It actually reminds me me of some of the Battlestar Galactica stuff. Well, that's what I saw when I first saw it. Anyway, people probably think different, but it's amazing. But the only person I know who's even got one, it's a close friend of mine, and he hasn't really played with it that much. He's played it once or twice, and it's cool. It's good for these points, but he doesn't really see that much time. And again, like I said, well, the only time I played against it, it completely smashed my armor, and it was awesome. Now, when it comes to transports and stuff and flyers and everything like that, I know we've just received a transport for the Primaris, but the main thing I actually wanted my transport for, of course, I want to transport my guys up the field. I want to transport my intercessors, my infiltrators, all that kind of fun stuff. Well, not really infiltrators, because you can just put them down, away from you or anything. But, if you want to get them up the field. But the main thing I wanted to get in the transports was my heavy units, so I could really start bringing the pain. And what I mean by heavy units is mainly aggressors. Now, the rules which I've seen states that aggressors actually cannot get in the new Primaris transport. Gravis armor is basically a no-go, which absolutely sucks, because for me, that's what I was going to use it for. I was basically going to put a ton of aggressors in there with a Boltstorm Gauntlets, me with my Imperial Fist rolling 6s. I could basically get another hit on the target, and I could really start bringing the pain if I got those guys up. And of course, they've got twin power fists, so if anything starts matching them, you can basically just charge in, because you've got the that new buff now. I bloody forgot his name. Something ASTARTES, of course. But it basically gives you +1 to the attack, so you can really start smashing things and taking things apart. But now, with the new transport, they say no. Aggressors / Gravis armor is not allowed in it. So that completely scuppers my plan. So I'm really hoping that, fingers crossed, maybe that GW is going to bring out like a Primaris flyer, which will allow you to put the bigger units, the guys who really matter and start punching things and exploding things in combat, actually inside of it, because those are the guys that need it. They're basically so bulky, and it's really hard to get them up the field because their movement is so low, and I really want to just get them into combat to start punching things and ripping things apart. On the subject of actually flying and stuff, I think we should stay on track and discuss the next thing, which is the fast attack option. Now, at the moment, we've only got Inceptors, which you can do with bolts, or you can do with plasma, which they're cool. I love them. Awesome stuff. But I'd really like another fast attack option. And what I mean by fast attack option is something like a land speeder, but Primaris-fied. I know we have land speeders already, but it'd be really cool to see like a Primaris version. I think everyone is with me when they want to see Primaris jetbikes, especially now, since the White Scar has got their Codex and stuff, and it's basically just normal Space Marines. Like, the new guy, Shadow Khan, which has just been upgraded to a Primaris, technically cannot get on a bike anymore because Primaris don't have bikes. So it'd be really awesome to see GW go into that route and give us some more fast attack options with bikes and speeders and stuff like that. And how awesome would it be, to see like a full Raven wing and a White Scar force in Primaris, armor and stuff, just all painted up and just looking absolutely badass on the battlefield as a full-on fast attack purge force. I'd absolutely love it. So that could be classed as phase 3, flies and stuff. But if I had to really pick, and it's hard between flyers and stuff, but I think I'd go with a phase 3 heavy version of the Primaris. And what I mean by heavy version is more bulkier, more armoured, they've got more wounds on them, they can really take a beating kind of troops. Now, the debate about this is, if they did do that, would they basically make a new version of the Terminator armor? But a lot of people in this debate, and myself included, are wondering, is Gravis armor technically the new Terminator armor? Because it doesn't look like it, but you can see like the theme they're going for, like Primaris having Gravis and the aggressors and stuff kind of looking like Terminators. Personally, for me, the argument is that Gravis is not the new Terminator armor, because Terminator armor has to have teleport homers and stuff like that, so you can deep strike your troops and stuff like that. Until Gravis get that, I will not consider it Terminator armor. Maybe GW has something in the plan to actually make like a new version of the Terminator armor, which will be like the kind of phase 3 kind of thing, which will be the heavy type of troops, and like the aggressors like Gravis armor is like a marked version down from that heavy type of armor. I will even really lose my mind and say maybe, if they're going to do like Primaris versions of Centurion battle suits, like we had the Space Marines inside Space Marines and stuff, maybe it's Primaris inside Primaris now, and you know that's one of the options that GW go with. Maybe they can just give us something which a lot of people have been asking for, is stuff like shields, storm shields. Where is the Primaris storm shields? Stuff like thunder hammers, claws, that could, you know, that could really come into it. So you have these kind of like boarding-esque, big, heavy, armored people which will just go in and they you know they can deep strike in, or you can drop them in hopefully with a bloody transport, and you know they have the ability to really smash off attacks because they're armored with shields and stuff, and then they can really pound the enemy because they have like Primaris lightning claws, Primaris thunder hammers, Primaris, you know, well, you technically have power swords and chain swords, but only for sergeants at the moment, but you get the drift. All these kind of awesome equipment that we expect and stuff like what we have in the Space Marine arsenal now, which the Primaris don't have access to. It could really work out awesome if it's used in the right way and put on the right type of units for the Primaris. What can be interweaved with this is, of course, characters. For those of you who don't know that, GW don't really invest that much into the Primaris character range. And what I mean by that, right, first off, I know that Primaris characters from the old range are being upgraded, like Kashero Khan, Tiguris from the Ultramarines, Calgar and stuff. That is awesome. That is fantastic. But I'm talking about like the generic Space Marine characters which have no, you know, chapters. You can just like do them, you know, whatever chapter you want. Take, for example, the Captain in Gravis Armor. The Captain Gravis Armor, you still cannot buy that guy separate for some reason. You can only really find him on vendors on eBay, or, you know, if you know, these trading Facebook groups and stuff like that. So I'd really like them to start investing into the characters and making, you know, more awesome characters. I would love like a chaplain in Gravis Armor. I would love a librarian in Gravis Armor. I would love an apothecary in Gravis Armor. All these characters that we love, part of the lore and stuff, I'd like them to get the different versions. We've already received the lieutenant and the captain in the light phase, so I really hope that GW is planning to do the next stage, the heavier versions of these characters, and make them look as awesome as they've been making the other characters look awesome. Alright, Chaperonios, that is me done for another video. I hope you've enjoyed it. It was just basically me wish listing for like 10 plus minutes. Tell me what you would like if you're a Primaris fan. What characters, what units, what upgrades, what would you like added to your Primaris forces, which is needed when it comes to the Primaris. Again, at the moment, with the new Space Marine Codex, we actually are a formidable force at the moment as we are. But of course, that does mean that, you know, we want more. We want more added to the army, because more stuff means more awesome stuff for us all to assemble, pay, and throw around on the table. Right, thanks for coming, thanks for watching. I'll see you over very soon. Of course, leave all your comments down below, and we'll have a nice little chat about it down there. See you now, and bye-bye.